Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're getting there thanks to you. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, keep those comments coming, and share with friends, because even on the weekend, the nonsense continues. I mean, obviously, Trump did not have a restful Sunday night when he posted at 12:35 in the morning. At 12:35 in the morning, that Biden's pardons for the January 6th committee were void. Let's unpack it first here, all right? And let me show you the post that he put up. In it, he turns around and he says, the pardons that Sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void, vacant, and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by autopen. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them. The necessary pardoning documents were not explained to or approved by Biden. He knew nothing about them, and the people that did may have committed a crime. Therefore, those of the unselect committee who destroyed and deleted all evidence obtained during their 2-year witch hunt of me and many other innocent people should fully understand that they are subject to investigation at the highest level. The fact is, they were probably responsible for the documents that were signed on their behalf without the knowledge or consent of the worst president in the history of our country, Crooked Joe Biden. Now, lots to unpack there. First and foremost, I'm kind of curious what information that he has. By the way, if he's right, if Joe Biden did not know about the pardons, they clearly would be illegal. And the people who used illegally the autopen should be held accountable. But my only question is, while I appreciate the vigor that Trump is putting forth here, I'm more interested in what evidence he's basing it on. You see, that's the whole thing. You can't just turn around and make a statement, and that statement is basically pulled out of thin air. You need to back it up with the documentation. Show us how you know that Joe Biden did not know about these individuals, about Shifty Schiff or Pelosi or any of the others that Donald Trump regularly likes to attack, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney. Show me that he did not know about it. Let me ask you this question. Another person, Donald, that was pardoned was Crooked Joe Biden's son, Hunter. Was Hunter's done via autopen too? Was that acceptable to you? I'm just curious again, what is the basis for this post? And what's the documentation or the information supporting it? Now, earlier this weekend, Trump posted this, poking fun at his claims that Biden used an autopen. And I mean, take a look at this. This is great, right? I mean, talk about picture, obviously, then picture again. It really is kind of funny if you think about it. It's really sort of clever. Now, since inauguration, Trump has made a big show of signing all of his executive orders with that big black Sharpie on live TV. So nobody could claim it's an autopen, that's for sure. Now, I want to show you very quickly an article of NBC breaking down the reality of Trump's claim. In it, it turns around and it says, Trump claims Biden's pardons for January 6th committee are void because he used an autopen. Trump has argued that the committee members are guilty of unspecified major crimes. Goes on to say that President Donald Trump claimed, without evidence, his predecessor's pardons for members of the House Select Committee that investigated the January 6, 2021 attacks on the Capitol to be invalid early Monday because President Joe Biden didn't use a real pen. It further goes on to say, however, the U.S. Constitution makes clear the president has unique executive powers to issue pardons and makes no provision for subsequent presidents to rescind them for issues relating to choice of pen or anything else. The pardon needs to be fully delivered to the recipient, and the president can't pardon crimes related to impeachment. But it is not clear what legal avenue Trump intends to pursue to undo Biden's orders. It also wasn't clear if the president was planning imminent action or an investigation against the committee members. The White House was contacted for comment. And finally, it turns on to say the panel's members were, these are all names that you'll obviously recognize, Senator Adam Schiff, who was then the House member, former Representatives Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Elaine Luria, Stephanie Murphy, and current Representatives Pete Aguilar, Zoe Lofgren, Jamie Raskin, and Benny Thompson. There's a lot of people here that Trump intends to go after, I'll tell you that. Now, if you'll remember, Trump turned around and said that Liz Cheney, for her actions, should be put in front of a firing squad. Since we're talking about presidential powers, undoing another president's pardons, he also believes that Liz Cheney should be put in front of a firing squad. Play that clip.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know,
I mean, talk about gruesome. Listen, guns, a whole slew of them aimed at her face, and all for what? Because she dared to contradict the king, right? Off with her head. First of all, it's a very gruesome sight, and I don't know why the audience is laughing. One thing for certain, whether you like Liz Cheney or you don't, I'm not a fan of Liz Cheney. I don't agree with her in terms of policy-wise, for many, many years. But to laugh after Trump calls her dumb, right? And she's a war hawk, she's dumb. And this, for whatever the reason, seems to appeal to this base, to this group of individuals, and then to talk about putting her in front of a firing squad as a direct result of her refusal to accept and parrot his comments, whether you believe them or you don't. If you do, knock yourself out. It's one of the issues that we also saw just the other day when Trump has turned around and claimed that he has, and he did that before the Department of Justice, that he intends to go after all of his political opponents, including the media, for making statements about him that he deems untrue. Again, it's all his perspective. Now, I want to also show you what Trump said about Adam Schiff in November. Play that clip.
Corrupt party. Guys like Adam Shifty Schiff, these are corrupt people. And to think he'll probably be a senator, can you believe it? Watermelon head. No, he's a watermelon head. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. I don't know how the hell he can hold up that enlarged watermelon head. What an ugly guy, both inside and out.
I mean, and again, the crowd laughs. I'm not so sure I understand the concept of a watermelon head. You know, as a 5th grader, we used to call people with those massive heads. Every class had one or two, where somehow or another the head just grew well before the body. We used to call them gonka heads, right? I mean, I'm not really sure what a watermelon head is, but okay. Nevertheless, yeah, in 5th grade, we would get some laughs and so on. But these are adults sitting in the crowd laughing as Trump talks about Adam Schiff having a watermelon head. I mean, sure. Now, despite the horrible things that Trump has said, he always has to be the victim. Always plays the victim. All right? Here he is doing just that on Friday when he spoke to the DOJ. Play the clip.
It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. I was attacked by a political opponent, and probably it helped that I was attacked more than anybody in the history of our country. Alphonse Capone, the great Alphonse Capone, legendary, Scarface. was attacked, only a tiny fraction of what Trump was attacked.
Trump wasn't attacked. Let's be clear about something. Now, do I believe that a lot of this was politically motivated? Absolutely. The investigations were motivated, but what did they ultimately find? They found out that there were actions that were done that are illegal. All right? So defend them, which he did. Defend them. And I don't understand how all of a sudden he is the victim, for example, of taking documents and hiding them and refusing to return them. And then worse, having a lawyer sign an affidavit that they returned everything, knowing full well that there are documents in your office, documents in the storage room, and so on. And that's just one of the four indictments and the 2 impeachments and so on. And I get it, because this is what I wrote about in my Substack. There is always a kernel of truth to what Trump is saying. The Russia hoax? Absolutely. Bullshit, right? All started off of this one motherfucker, this guy Christopher Steele. Seriously, with his fake dossier? Especially as it related to me? Never been to Prague. Did that stop Trump's weaponized Department of Justice? No, it did not. No, it did not. In fact, they continued with it. But it wasn't just Republicans. It was Democrats. It was also the press that allowed this to go on. Read my Substack. You'll understand. Criticize and go to jail. All right? Criticize and it's jail time. Really terrible. Now, lastly, I want to show you, as per usual, it's unbelievable. Caroline Leavitt must parrot these talking points because she gets them every single day from the folks there inside the campaign. These are the things that you need to say when you're getting up and you're speaking on behalf of Donald Trump. And I want to show you, because here she is on Sunday speaking about how Trump has been targeted. Play the clip.
He has been facing more resistance than anyone who has ever run for office in American history. And the mainstream media is part of that. But also, as you mentioned, we have judges in our judicial branch who are acting as activists, not real arbiters of the law. And there has been 15 injunctions in 1 month of President Trump's agenda. The Biden White House only faced 13 injunctions in the entirety of his presidency. And so clearly there are left-wing activists who sit behind a bench in a courthouse who don't like this president and his policies. But the fact is, everything President Trump is doing is within his executive authority to do it. He is acting within the bounds of the law. All of his actions are constitutional, and our White House and the entire administration are prepared to fight back against this resistance. Don't bet against President Trump. I think his epic return to the Oval Office proves that he is going to win against the weaponization of our justice system.
Yeah, let's
be very clear. Donald Trump knows all about weaponizing the Department of Justice. As I wrote in my book, Revenge, how Donald Trump weaponized the United States Department of Justice against his critics. He knows all about it. And as far as being Caroline Leavitt, the judge, the jury, the executioner in these by parroting Trump's comments, let's wait to see what the judges determine. There are actions that are being taken by this administration that are just flat out unconstitutional. Just flat out unconstitutional. And the fact that you don't like that Project 2025's, 922-page manifesto is going to become the reality, I'm sorry. That's why you have, Caroline, 3 separate and co-equal branches of government. Maybe the reason that Biden only had 13 is because maybe he didn't cross the line. Maybe. And I'm going to leave that for you to decide. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.